Hi, I am Sushma Chapagain. I am a senior here at Goucher studying sociology with a concentration in health and medicine and double minor in psychology and public health. For my study abroad, I went to New Zealand in Massey University.
What were your initial thoughts and reactions when you found out about the scholarship?
I was actually very happy and very surprised too because while filling out the application, I had an academic paper due that night and I thought the application was due a little bit later than I expected. So I had to cram everything together and try to still write a good essay and all of that. So I thought that my essay was not good, but when I heard back from OIS, I was very happy and quite surprised.
So were you daunted by the amount of work that you had to do? So when Jennifer was like, here's the Gilman Scholarship and here's all the requirements, were you like, should I apply for this or not?
Not really. The essay were kind of difficult because I'm not really good at writing essays, but the word limits are not too much, so I wasn't really daunted or anything like that. It's just that I had so many academic papers too, and because of the school workload, I was kind of like, oh my god, I have to do everything on time, but not just the requirement.
How did you manage your time during the application process?
I started my application way ahead of time. I had one of the essays completed. The second question that asks us what is your follow-up project after you return back from study abroad was something I was still exploring and thinking about, what should I do, because I wanted to have a nice program so that my application could stand out. But also I had lots of schoolwork and in a short period of time, I emailed my professor saying that, I have this application that's due, would you mind if I submit your work a few hours later? The professor was understanding and I did write it, but yeah.
What advice would you have for students on how to manage their times?
First, write your essays. Try already drafting it, having your friends look at it. Utilize Writing Center. I did because you do not want any sort of grammatical errors on your essays when you are applying for Gilman. And also have your professor or even Jennifer or Carol to look after it because they already know and they have been reviewing other students' essays, so they're kind of familiar. They have better knowledge of how an essay should be formatted, what kind of things should be included. So really utilize all the resources you have on campus, especially OIS office and the Writing Center.
Did you have any hesitations about applying or at all during the application process?
I did. I just thought that because I doubted my writing abilities, I thought, what's the point of applying when there are so many students applying? What if I don't get in? There was that kind of doubt, but it's never bad for trying, and you never know what you might end up with. So I did try for it, and I got it, so definitely try.
Do you remember some topics you wrote about in your essay?
I wrote about how I had doubted my abilities to even go and do study abroad, but then how I was resilient to think through the logistical steps and still apply for study abroad. I also included a little bit of my personal story, my background, and how can this study abroad be beneficial to me and also students in my campus.
Any advice on how to stand out?
Gilman Scholarship is for federal students who are eligible for a federal grant. So make sure that you mention that and all the hardships you have faced, but how resilient you were to come to college as being a low-income student, and just really include your personal story and how this study abroad opportunity will benefit not only you, but students like you in the future. Try to be personal, I would say.
Is there a Gilman alumni network?
There is a Gilman alumni network. After you complete your study abroad, they send you an email to join alumni network from the region. So if you went to Asia and Pacific, there is one LinkedIn profile, not profile, but LinkedIn community kind of group, and then Africa and for Europe and for like all of that stuff. I actually already utilized one of the benefits of being in alumni network. There was job fair with like all the national government stuff, but national government employers, and me and some of my friends who are also Gilman recipient went to DC and took advantage of that job fair because we are seniors.
Was there like a project that you had to do? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I wrote on my application that I would document how people from different ethnic background interact in New Zealand, because it is a very diverse country. There's a good mixture of Europeans, Pacific Islanders, and Asians. And being a sociology major, I wanted to carry out that project and also document how people interact with me, because people who live abroad or who are not from the US, they have this mentality that an ideal American looks a certain way, and I get questioned about my nationality in the US all the time, and I wanted to see if that would be the same in New Zealand. So that was my program, like just to take pictures of how people from different ethnic background interacted among each other, and also how people interacted with me.
What were some of the highlights of your program abroad?
I traveled a lot. I traveled throughout New Zealand. It is mainly divided into 2 islands. I mean, there are a lot of islands, but those 2 main islands are the one that has a lot of other islands, and I took advantage of that. During spring break, I went to Australia, so I think that was the highlight, just traveling.
Any final words or biggest advice for students applying?
Start on time and have someone, especially from the OIS office, to look at your essay. Definitely that.
Why do you think a Goucher student should apply for the Gilman Scholarship?
I think Goucher students should apply for Gilman Scholarship because it is an incredible resource to finance your study abroad, and especially for low-income students. You should never discount this kind of life-changing experience simply because you did not know there were resources available to you.